Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Manchester Valley High School, another night of Carroll County Athletic League High School football from CMSportsNet. Pat Stetzer with you and joined by, for the first time, Nathan Schwartz. Nathan, thanks for joining us tonight on the game. Should be a good one between Winters Mill and Manchester Valley.
Absolutely. Glad to be here. Manchester Valley coming off of a big win last week against Key, 24-20. Took a little bit of some late game heroics by the Mavericks to get their first win of the season. Winters Mill coming in, though, very confident team. Ran through their non-county games, but now a true test for them against a Manchester Valley team that's got a little bit of momentum in their favor.
Back-to-back shutout wins for the Falcons. 111 points for Nathan and just 12 against. They've got a shutout streak going here of at least 8 quarters. I believe the first week Poolsville scored late in that fourth quarter, or in the fourth quarter, so they've gone 8 quarters without giving up a point. So very good confidence booster for Winters Mill.
And offensively, 77 points in the last 2 games, and defensively not allowing any. So against Watkinsville and Centennial, both road games, the offense came ready to play, the defense came ready to play, the special teams came ready to play. That's as complete of an effort as you can have in all 3 phases of the football game. And now here in the county play, Winters Mill is going to have to keep that going because it's not going to be as easy as it's been these past 3 weeks for the Falcons.
Right, absolutely. But you start the season, and Winters Mill has the first 3 against non-county, so the next 6, the rest of the season is counting. You stacked up wins, and you stacked up some confidence, so that's what Coach Matt Miller and his staff are hoping from the Falcons can continue that. Man Valley won the toss. They deferred. I believe that's what happened there. I was trying to watch that while Nathan was breaking it down. And also, if you're Manchester Valley, you stumble a little bit to start. You had 0-2 to start, then you get Key at home. It's a back-and-forth game, and they win the game in the final moments of the game. Connor Stack with a touchdown run, then the interception to seal it on defense. So a little confidence boost there for Man Valley.
Absolutely. Stack winning our athlete of the week this past week, 127 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. Got that game-winning interception, pretty much just sat along the sideline, waited for that ball to come to him on the wheel route. He really emphasized when you talked to him, Pat, being confident in practice this week. Really make sure they were doing the things right throughout the week to make sure when they got to this game that they were ready to go, and getting back to not only 500 but getting to a 2-0 spot in county play is going to be huge for Manchester Valley if they're able to get this one out in the next 48 minutes.
Yeah, we had a game last night, Thursday night, kickoff week 4, Liberty in Westminster. We gave that one to you last night as well. Another barn burner right down to the wire. The Owls prevailed 19-13 with a touchdown in the final seconds of that game. Roy O'Connor with the 9-yard pass to Braden Troop, but a really good game, tied. It kind of looked like it was headed to overtime, but Owls took advantage of a shorter field thanks to a penalty after a late punt, and they got down the field quickly and scored. So you mentioned 2-0. The Owls are 2-0 right now in county play. We'll see if Winters Mill can start 1-0 or Man Valley can get to 2-0. And we kick off here left to right. Man Valley does the kickoff. Winters Mill will receive the opening kick. Isaac Kolkep, the regular punt returner, gets it out to about the 27, 26-yard line. That's where Winters Mill will start. 1st and 10, and leading the charge here for the Falcons, junior quarterback Austin Denning.
And what he's been able to do on the ground so far, Pat, has been his calling card. 166 yards on the ground, 5 touchdowns. Winters Mill's not an offense that's going to throw the ball a lot. They've really, if you are looking for one weakness in their game, it's this passing offense. Denning's only completed 6 passes throughout the first 3 weeks so far. So look for them to attack the ground early, but Manchester Valley, after giving up a big touchdown on the ground to begin last week, really settled in that regard.
1st and 10 from the 28, we'll call it. And Denning did run, and Man Valley was right on it. Looks like 56 with the tackle, Robert Hummel. Gained a yard, but a good start for Man Valley's defense. You mentioned the running. Sorry, you mentioned the running, and not that they can't throw, and they haven't had to throw too much the first 3 weeks. Doesn't mean they can't do it, but I think Man Valley knows that what's coming in terms of the offense. Run first, and then play off of that.
It's going to be a game in the trenches, Pat.
Yep.
If you can win between both B gaps, maybe get a couple runs to the outside, whoever can do that most efficiently is going to be in good shape.
2nd and 9 from the 29. Denning hands it off on the right far hash, toward the Winters Mill sideline. A couple more yards there. Bring up a 3rd and about 5.
That's what you want to see if you're this Manchester Valley coaching staff. Your guys swarming to the football. Of course, you see big Colton Nunn in there, 77. But
hard to miss.
Blake Pitt has been in there for both of these plays so far. Talked about Hummel making that tackle on the first play. And now a 3rd and medium here for Winners Mill. They're going to spread it out. Do they opt to pass here, or do they trust Denning with his legs?
That was Jake Andolina on the last run. They do have trips here to the near side as Denning surveys the defense. It'll be a run. Denning up the middle. Austin Denning looks like he has enough for the first down up past the 40-yard line. So a nice designed run by the quarterback, moves the chains.
Right up the gut for Denning. And when you have a player of that caliber, and remember, he's only a junior, but has a ton of experience within the county in these kind of big games. And trusting him on your first 3rd down of the game, a huge confidence boost for this Winners Mill offense.
12 yards so far on this drive. All runs, like Nathan said. 1st and 10 from the 40. That time, wow, nice run. Luke Phillips, dead to rights in the backfield, but Luke Phillips would not be denied there. One of their leading rushers so far through 3 games, and a nice job on first down by number 9, Luke Phillips.
And when you're able to run the ball this successfully, why stop, right? And for a player of Phillips' caliber and what he's been able to do so far, Patty's averaging nearly 11 yards per rush throughout the first 3 weeks of the season. Gets about 7 or 8 there on first down. Broke not 1, not 2, but 3 tackles on his way to the 47-yard line. Having 2 or 3 guys, we'll see Andolina get involved a lot as well, that can be that kind of potent rusher, just adds so much to your rushing attack.
No doubt, and Phillips, like you mentioned, also has 6 touchdowns to boot. Here's Denning again, fakes the handoff to Andolina and gets close to a first down. Let's see, up to right about the 50-yard line. They had to get to the 50 to move the chains. They're going to move the chains, I believe they are. So Austin Denning picks it up. That's 2 first downs on this drive. And Nathan, we actually covered a playoff game of theirs a couple years back against Williamsport. They didn't attempt a single pass. They ran the ball about 45 or 50 times in a convincing win. I went to Coach Miller afterward and was like, was that the plan? He said, absolutely. They're not going to stop us, why are we going to try to throw a pass? It worked that night, and it's working here so far.
And Denning told you himself, if they're running it well, they're not going to stop. They're not going to go away from it, and I don't see any reason why they should veer away from the run here.
Especially when you can get a hard count and get 5 yards.
For sure.
So I think this looks to be encroachment, and it is. So it'll be a 1st and 5 now for Winners Mill. So I think it is, too, Nathan, just again, like you mentioned this, and you hit it on the head. The first 3 teams they played this year had a combined 1 win last year. So it's looking on paper, look, we're the better team. We're waiting for Winners Mill. But you got to go out there and win the games, and they did. And the way they did won the last 2 in shutout form, 35-point or more wins, and that's just building your confidence and building your confidence. So when you get to county play, you don't feel like you're the underdog, despite being 2-8 last year. And there's a pass, incomplete though. Try to get it to Andolina. Oh, excuse me, that was Luke Phillips, but it's incomplete. Not a bad idea though on 1st and 5 there. Just why not try to poke a pass in there once in a while?
And on a route like that, just quick hitch right out of the backfield, that's almost like a run to a degree. They're not really trying to air out the defense at all. And I wonder if Manchester Valley is going to start pinching in the box a little bit. But the trouble is when Winners Mill decides to go trips here like they are on this play, you can't exactly fill the box as much as you want to, although this does look like man. So Winners Mill wants to take a shot. Not a bad play to do it.
It's going to be Phillips around this side here. Gets a good block from his receiver. Nice job. The block from Evan Catania, and Luke Phillips moves the chains again. So the running attack in full force right now for Winners Mill.
And they've been doing it in every different space of the field, Pat, right there. And what Phillips has been successful at is getting around this near side to the corner when they've gone up the middle with Denning and Andolina as well. So playing to your strengths. We're going to keep saying that all night long. Not only is Winners Mill doing that, bleeding a lot of clock here, especially on the opening drive.
3 ball carriers so far, 31 yards on this drive. And a fresh set of downs from the Manchester Valley 36. Just a little stumble there in the backfield, though, there. But again, that's Robert Hummel right on the play for Man Valley. And that'll be a loss. Give the carry to Andolina, so the first positive in a few plays for Man Valley's defense.
It's a good play design, though, by Winners Mill. The misdirection, track play, counter to the right side. A little bit of weather in the area yesterday, maybe causing some slick surfaces here at Manchester Valley, but nonetheless, great play up the middle by this Manchester defensive line.
Gets Winters Mill behind the sticks. And so 2nd and 11 back to the 37-yard line. Denning stays in the gun. He does throw. Incomplete. Trying to get it to Aiden Clements, number 11. Maybe he led him a little too much there. It looked like he had him open and could have made a play, but incomplete. Brings up 3rd and long now.
And now what does Manchester Valley do? 3rd and long. You would assume Winters Mill would go to the air here, but they could also just try and get Phillips around the edge like they've done a couple of times. Really interesting for both sides to see what they do here. If I'm Manchester Valley, though, I wouldn't be surprised if they bring pressure here. They've shown that last week against Key. The first 3rd down they had, they brought 6 guys. Key dumped it off into the flat. Not a bad idea to do that here again for the Mavericks.
You would assume a throwing down here, 3rd and 11, but we'll see, and it is. Denning drops back. There is some pressure. Pass incomplete. Covered by Walter Salih, number 11. He was trying to get that one to Andolina, was Denning, but incomplete pass. And let's see what Coach Matt Miller wants to do for the first major decision so far here with 6:38 to go in the first quarter, and Denning is getting a play, it looks like, from the sideline. So I'm going to say they're going to try to go for it here on 4th and 11.
And with the way the defense has been playing, Pat, for Winters Mill, like we said earlier, only allowing 12 points in the first 3 weeks of the season. And for the offense putting up 111 points, you obviously want to keep the ball in your offense's hands as long as you can. The problem is, though, the playbook shrinkins on 4th and 11, and you know Manchester Valley is expecting a pass.
See if they bring some pressure here, too, to force Denning to make a play. He can use his legs, though, so they have to be wary of that as well. All right, 4th and 11. There's pressure from the outside. Denning gets away from the first man. He's got some room. He cuts it back. Austin Denning has the first down inside the 20-yard line. I was wary of the legs, and he did it. He got away. Good kudos to him to get away from that pressure. And a big first down for Winters Mill.
A poised play from the junior, just staying calm. It was one-on-one with everybody on the outside. Manchester Valley brings 7. The only problem with that, though, is if you don't get home, if there's a receiver open or if the quarterback slips away, it's going to be a big play. And for Denning, why not use your legs, right? Spinning out to the left, he seems comfortable going to either direction, and especially to not only get out of the pocket, but he didn't have the first down anyway. He had to cut back and make sure he got that first down yardage.
Nice run by the junior quarterback. And a give off the right side to Andolina. Minimal yardage there, but again, when Man Valley's keeping this clock moving and they have their offense on the field, 2 things that Coach Matt Miller definitely emphasized to try to get one of the keys to victory here today against a stout Man Valley defense.
Yeah, already half of the first quarter taken up here on this opening drive. Not one completed pass yet for Winters Mill. They've been doing it on the ground, already 54 yards on the ground in that regard. Denning's got 33 of them, part of that big scamper a few plays ago.
2nd and 9. Ball down by the 14, so nice looking drive to start this off. Denning will keep it. Gets away from Salih, cuts it back in, gets that block from his receiver. Denning is into the end zone, all the way in. Austin Denning, count it for Winters Mill. That's 6, 14-yard rush. Very nicely done by Winters Mill, and they had the first points of tonight's game.
You just felt like that drive was going to end in points for the Falcons after that 4th down conversion. 4th and 11, Denning uses his legs to escape. 2nd down play right there. Didn't look like there was a whole lot eventually until he bounced it outside again. Got a couple of great blocks on the outside from his receivers, and now he's going to kick the extra point.
He's going to try to. I think that's off to the right. So the point after fails, but yeah, no rest for the weary. Denning scores 14 and stays right out there and kicks the extra point, but it is no good. So with 5:09 remaining in the opening quarter, Winters Mill on the board first. They lead this game 6-0 against Manchester Valley. 10 carries, 68 yards for the team in that drive. Pretty impressive opening statement by Winters Mill on the road.
No doubt about that, and this is a team that has gotten used to playing on the road, Pat, like we mentioned, the 2 last weeks being on the road at Watkins Mill, at Centennial, not exactly close schools to play at. Now they get to get a bit closer of a game before heading home in the next 2 weeks, I believe. They're They're back home in Westminster. And, you know, you get challenged when playing on the road. You don't have a ton of your fans behind you. You're in hostile environments. Good crowd here in Manchester Valley tonight. But to make that opening statement, 6 minutes, 51 seconds off the clock already, a 6-0 lead. And your defense now trotting out there, who's been lights out the last 2 weeks. This is exactly the kind of start that the Falcons fans and Matt Miller and his staff could have asked for.
Yeah, and I don't have it in front of me, I believe they're at Key next week, so they're not returning home until October the 10th. They have their home opener of week 1. They don't come back for almost more than a month. But a couple years ago, I think they only had 3 home games. They had 6 road games. They had the road warrior mentality, and they've done it so far this season here too. So Austin Denning, again, he's back out there for the kickoff as well. Swings his right leg into it, and now Man Valley. We'll see what they have for an answer. Fielded it around the 10. That's Wyatt Ziegenfuss. Gets it up past the 20, up about the 23. So Man Valley's offense will start there. And we'll see junior Bo Snell, a couple of junior quarterbacks tonight. Number 5 taking over for Coach Bernie Kuntz's offense this year. Matthew Ferran was the quarterback last season for Man Valley. So we talked to Man Valley, obviously, during the preseason about their preview. What was their storylines? Storylines were a lot of new faces filling roles, and a lot of graduated players. One of the guys back, though, you mentioned him already, Nathan, that's Connor Stack, and he is on the left hip right now of Bo Snell as we go 1st and 10 from the 23-yard line. And that fake handoff, and it's a pass out in the flat. Caught by Nick Ferrano, number 18. So a nice start there on 1st and 10 for Man Valley.
That's interesting because last week they went to Stack on the first 4 plays of the game, just up the gut, straight power plays. But here they fake that go play action bubble to the left side. That's watching your film back, maybe seeing a tell, oh, we ran the ball 4 straight plays to start. Why don't we fake it to that guy and see if we can exploit an opening on the left side? And it's a good play to start, gain of 7.
Gain of 7 indeed. 2nd and 3 from up near the 30. So Snell again in shotgun with Stack, and this time it will be to Stack. And Connor Stack has a 1st down and more. And you mentioned his yards per carry. It's impressive.
Connor Stack on the carry.
He can do it in so many different ways, too. He might get a touch on a return. He had a 50-yard return last week. They got called back due to a holding penalty. But another word he used when you talked to him earlier in the week, Pat, is motivated. They were motivated to come back late in that game, motivated to continue to build on a strong start to county play. And he's going to be a workhorse even though he's not on the field here on 1st down.
Yeah, I'll take that back, too. It was Phillips you were talking about for the yards per carry, but last year Connor Stack's yards per carry was really eye-popping, and he was coming back, so that's a good thing. John Day met right in the hole. Number 25 from Man Valley says hello to 52, A.J. Whitney, but Day still churning, and a flag flies in. It was a big hit at the point of contact there. John Day kept his feet going, but there is a flag.
Victor Tejada on the tackle. There is a flag down.
Was a point back to the Manchester Valley side of the field, and it looks like it's against the Mavericks.
The head official looking to the Winners Mill sideline whether they want to accept or decline. I'm going to assume they're going to accept it. Push him back. But that was a good run by John Day. I thought when I looked down to see who made the hit, I thought the play was over. I looked up and his legs were still moving. So now John Day coming off the sideline here too. So a couple runners taking breathers. So this is a sideline warning. Okay. So 5-yard penalty, I believe.
Looks like they're just running it back at 1st and 10 here.
Indeed, 1st and 10. So I guess that's no
harm, no foul.
No harm,
really.
no foul. Yeah. There's Snell back to throw. Snell's going down the middle, not the middle, but the seam, incomplete. Ferrano, the intended receiver.
Intended for Nick Ferrano, 2nd down.
Getting a little chirp from 54, Ezzy Poutre, who was coming back in from the linebacker position to cover a receiver. Either way, incomplete.
That was Isaac Colkep on the coverage for Winners Mill. Thought he might have had a little tug there at the end, but not enough for a pass interference call. that was open there for Manchester Valley. They had the seam along the right side. They had that seam exploited on the other side last week. That's how they got their first score with Salee, about a 40-yard strike from Snell. So it's no secret that Manchester Valley is looking to exploit in between the hash marks.
2nd and 10 now from the 36. Give to Stack, makes the first man miss, gets out near the 45-yard line before he's pushed back, but a good run there from Stack, and it'll be 3rd and short.
You would assume that Manchester Valley is going to go right back to him here. For Winters Mill, it's definitely more of a running back by committee with Denning, with Phillips, with Andalina. Jarrell Baker could get some touches, but here for Manchester Valley, it's really Connor Stack getting majority of the carries. We'll see Day like we saw a few plays ago, but Stack being the workhorse, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
100%.
I would assume they go right back to him here on 3rd and short.
Might see some Brody Ongst in there as well before the night's over, and you were right, but a nice stand, I believe. Actually lost a yard. Nice job. Victor Tejada pushes him backward, and that's a nice play from Winters Mill's defense. And let's see what Man Valley wants to do with a 4th and short near midfield. That's at the 44-yard line. They might be in punt formation. Indeed they are.
You're already playing down from behind. Don't want to give Winters Mill too good a field position here, but got to give credit to the Falcons linebackers right there. Poutre and Tejada teaming up from the linebacker spots, filling those empty gaps, not giving Stack a lot of wiggle room. And it was Tejada that really got that final push to make sure that Stack couldn't keep going to get the first.
2 of the top defenders in the county there. Those 2 guys back from last season. Keontae Torrance, number 12, is the returner. He doesn't want anything to do with it as it goes out of bounds. Probably smart move there and right around the 21-yard line. So I'm 20, yeah, 21, 22-yard line. So Winters Mill kind of where they started the last drive, and I was pretty impressed with that first drive of the Falcons. Man Valley moved the ball there too, but Man Valley's defense is going to really have to stiffen up here because they don't want to fall too far behind, like you said.
Yeah, 68 yards on the ground. Just on that opening drive for Winters Mill, they got that 5-yard penalty in their favor as well. So for the Falcons, you would assume they go right back to the ground, maybe try another one of those hitch routes or a drag route to one of their veteran receivers. But if the same mentality, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just stick to the ground game if you're Winters Mill.
High snap, brought down, and a nice run on 1st down. Andalina. Oh, yes, Jake Andalina. I get Andalina and Phillips mixed up in my mind. One's 5, one's 9. That was Andalina, the junior, 5'8", 175 pounds. Again, a lot of juniors on this roster that played last year for Coach Miller. They've already surpassed last year's win total. They were a 2-win team a year ago, now already 3-0. Again, it's their first county game, but just doing that through the first 3 weeks of September gives you that big boost of confidence.
And experience is huge, building from not the ground up, but from losing a lot of talent when you went 9-2 to playing a lot of guys that didn't have a ton of varsity experience last year. You go 2-8. Now you already are seeing the blessings and the growth of the tribulations from a year ago. 3-0 and already a lead here in their first county game.
That was a run by Denning, but Man Valley defense came up strong there and kept them from getting much yards at all. So it'll be a 3rd and 2 from the 30. Under a minute to go here already in this first quarter. Nathan said, fast-moving quarter. We don't mind, of course, but Man Valley had a lot of time to be on the field offensively. Here we go, 3rd and 2. Give to Andalina. I don't think he got the first down. Yeah, he got to the 31. C.J. Lamb makes the tackle for Man Valley to bring in a couple bigger bodies. See what Winters Mill wants to do here. It is 4th down, 4th and 1 from the 31.
That's such a tough play to defend, too, because they had the 3-headed monster back there of Andalina, Denning, and Phillips side by side. Who's going to get the football?
Yeah, I was just going to say they can talk this over because the quarter's coming to an end. You're right. It keeps Man Valley's defense on their toes for sure. One quarter in the books. Winners Mill 6, Manchester Valley 0. CMSportsNet coverage of Carroll County Athletic League football here from the stable in Manchester. Pat Stetzer and Nathan Schwartz with you on a nice night. It wasn't this nice about 24 hours ago. It started out nice, and then the storm came through, and a lot of us that are in this booth right now were down at Liberty and thought, oh, maybe it'll push off to the side. Well, one lightning, a couple thunders, the weather signal went off, and then the rain, the heavens opened up, and it got wet quickly. But they did finish the game, and like you said, Westminster pulled one out, 19-13 at the Lions Den in Eldersburg, and it's Carroll County play, Nathan, right? As you know a little bit about it too. Just even if the records don't show it, it's going to be a competitive game almost every time two teams face each other.
Absolutely. I mean, there's just so much, not necessarily animosity, but just competition between all of these teams. Of course, you have the South Carroll Century Liberty part of the county where they're all within about 10 minutes of each other. Winners Mill and Westminster
right
not
road.
Too far from each other. And then you have Manchester Valley and FSK kind of in the northern part of the county. But because everybody is so close, you get to know some of these guys off the field and, between the other sports too. There's just so much of that competition. So no matter what the records are, one of our other games we're covering tonight, South Carroll 0-3. Century went toe-to-toe with Westminster last week. That's going to be a great game. Again, those two teams just about 5 minutes away from one another.
And you talk to every coach in the county, and no one ever looks ahead and says, well, that'll be a victory, and we'll move on and prepare for so-and-so. It's not the way it goes around here. So here we go, 4th and 1 from their own 31. I don't think he got it. Let's see, they're going to push. I think it was Denning on a direct snap. He didn't get the surge. Big hole by Manchester Valley.
And he went under center actually there. That was an I formation play. They had Andalina and Phillips in the backfield, but it was Denning under center trying to go, not the tush push, but the traditional quarterback sneak. Where is that gone in the game of football at the higher level?
Gone by the dino extinct.
Exactly. But again, credit to those big bodies in the middle of the Manchester Valley defensive line, as you alluded to, Pat, before the end of the quarter. And now this is great field position for the Mavericks after a opening drive where they were able to do a little bit, but they missed on that big pass across the middle, and Stack got stuck up there on the last few plays of the drive.
Short field, though, like Nathan mentioned. It's 1st and 10 from the Winners Mill 31. And Snell drops all the way back to throw. Some pressure, steps up in front of it. Now he's got some room to run, gets a block, taken down. So a minimal gain, but it could have been a little worse because of the pressure from Winners Mill. And Snell picks up about 3. Give Luke Phillips credit for the tackle.
And these are two quarterbacks that are mobile. They're going to be able to wiggle their way in and out of the pocket, even when there's not a lot downfield. They're going to be ready to go in the snap of a finger, whether to take off or throw it away or do something. And at this level, that says a lot about just their innate ability to play the quarterback position, to not panic, to make sure they're going through their progressions. And especially on a play like that where Phillips is tracking him down from behind. He missed the sack initially, but Snell being able to hold on to the football and getting tackled from behind is a very underrated part of that play.
Still got 4 yards on the carry. So nice job by Snell. That was Ferrano trying to make a few men miss, but Winners Mill stretched it out a little bit, and it'll be 3rd down. Nice job by the Falcons defense to keep Ferrano from getting around the edge.
Yeah, for Manchester Valley, they haven't gotten the big play yet. Winners Mill had that big 4th down play. They've had a couple of 7 or 8 yard bursts with Denning on the quarterback keepers, with Phillips, with Andalina. But for Manchester Valley, it's been a lot more of these intermediate plays, 3, 4, 5 yards. If you're in that 4 to 5 yard mark, you're in good shape. But it's those shorter plays right there, especially on that one where you're starting behind the line of scrimmage on the jet pass.
3rd and 6 from the 27. And it's going to be 3rd and 2. That changes the playbook a little bit if it is indeed encroachment, and I think it is. Yep, so a couple of those, one per side now so far. Just a little antsy trying to make a play on the defensive front for Winners Mill.
Well, like you said, that opens up the playbook. You have Salih, who was lined up on the outside there. He's a big body target. He's got the size advantage if they want to take a shot. Because 3rd and 2, even if you take a pass and you don't complete it, you're still in 4 down territory. And you've got an all-county candidate in stack that could easily get you 2 yards.
I set you up to fail. 3rd and 6 meets the 3rd and 1. I said it was 3rd and 2. I'm not good at math. It's 3rd and 1 from the 22. 6 minus 5 is 1, I think. Anyway, they're going to run it. Ooh, Stack's not going to get it. Stack lost some yards. Nice job at Winters Mill.
That was Phillips and Denning closing in. Phillips from the linebacker spot, Denning to clean it up from his safety spot.
Nice job by Phillips.
Yeah, tosses are always tricky because it really takes a perfect blocking scheme in order to make sure you're able to get it on the outside. And as an offense, think about it, you're conceding 4 or 5 yards and you're making your running back
just to try to get to the
right,
line.
Just to get back to the line of scrimmage, and they only needed the 1 yard there. Now they're at a 4th and 5. Still manageable, but a lot trickier here.
You wonder if Coach Bernie Coons had 2 plays in mind, tried the toss to know you were going to go for it anyway, but obviously 4th and 5 different than 4th and 1. And that looked to be another false start. That's Victor Tejada, 44. Now, let's see if that's enough for the first down. It should be. It is. So 2 miscues there from Winters Mill's defense and gives Man Valley a fresh set of downs.
Sometimes, the anticipation and the antsiness just gets the best of you right there. We've seen that for both sides now where it's come into play. Tejada had the really good stop on the last possession for Manchester Valley, and he'll learn from that, as both teams will throughout this game. But those are the little things and those mistakes that can come back to bite you later.
Yeah, you saw him right away kind of smack himself in the helmet. He knew he got a little bit too excited to break through that line and try to make a play. So it's 1st and 10. Snell pump fake worked. He's got room to run, though, and he's taken down from behind. Snell had 2 receivers in each corner of the end zone, but just couldn't get away from Winters Mill's pressure. Isaiah Talkish, I believe, number 20, finally took him down, so a nice job there by Winters Mill. But Snell had, if he had looked up or had a chance to look at it, he had a guy beat in the left corner and also in the far corner here, too. So
it was Lane Saunders. They ran that slot fade pick play right there. They fake a screen to Salee. And, that's just perfect execution right there by both Saunders and Salee to make sure that they're doing exactly what they need to do to open that up. And you're right, Pat, if Snell just saw it, that's the easiest touchdown that Manchester Valley would have had up to this point of the season.
I think you're right. Instead, it's an incomplete. All right, it's a run for no gain, really. So 2nd down and 10. Give to Stack and Winters Mill right there. Not Stack, John Day, 25, John Day. Nice job by Day, or nice job by Tejada, rather, to stop Day, and that's 3rd and long now. So Man Valley up against it here.
But going back to that last play, you got to think that the Manchester Valley staff saw that, and they're going to target that at some point later in the game. Probably not in the 2nd quarter, but come the 4th quarter, if they're able to get that look again, don't be surprised if they go back to it.
It was wide open on both ends as far as you can see, and now, credit Winters Mill's defense for giving Snell something else to think about. I got to get out of this pressure. But it was there. It was definitely there.
Absolutely.
3rd and 10, clock running, 7:08 and counting in this first half. 6-0 Winters Mill, Man Valley down to the 21-yard line. Snell drops back. He's getting protection. Now Snell steps up over the middle. Nice job. Tipped away. That's Poutre, 54, because he had Salee open going across the middle. Poutre made a nice play there to break that up.
Wow.
Oh.
And this might be an unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, something of that degree. Maybe something was said, because that was a really late flag from one of the officials.
Indeed it is.
That's going to give Manchester Valley an automatic 1st down.
Got to keep your head. Got to keep your composure. He was excited about it and upset at himself for not maybe making the interception, but then he obviously said something back in the huddle. I don't even think a Man Valley player was standing around, but it's unsportsmanlike on Winters Mill. That's a 1st down. Boy, oh boy, on a 4th and 10 to be 1st and goal, I think now. Looks like they're at about the 11. Let's see. Can they get a 1st down? The 11? Yeah, it might be the 11. Nope, actually they're going to call it the 10. They dropped the chains. Yep, they dropped the chains. 1st and goal, so That's Poutre. Wonder what happened here. So he's down on his stomach for the moment. Athletic trainers and Coach Miller will come out and check. Could be a cramp or something like that, but an odd sequence here. 6:54 remaining in the second quarter. They tend to Poutre, and it's early in this game, Nathan, but to play like that, you credit Poutre for making the play. You got to keep your head right. You got to make sure you're not saying something, whether it's a taunt or something that's not supposed to be said on the field, and you hope that they learn from plays like that.
Yeah, and absolutely. Sportsmanship, the number one name in the game, especially at the high school level. Big emphasis from the county and statewide as well. But just going back to the play itself, Poutre just trailing from behind, able to extend his right arm as much as possible, because if he doesn't, that's a touchdown for Manchester Valley. Snell had about two guys wide open in the end zone. Saunders again was wide open. That was something so fast, I don't even know if Snell would have even gotten there. Probably wasn't his initial read, seam route from the slot for Saunders. And then they had Salih dragging across the formation. One of those deep drags, a sail play even for Salih right there. And that's who Snell was trying to get it to, but maybe a little bit too low of a ball. That's what allowed Poutre to get there. Went from 4th and 10, now 1st and goal. Let's see if Manchester Valley can capitalize.
Yeah, the ball touching the 10-yard line, so the sticks are dropped. It's 1st and goal from the 10. Here's a run around the near side here. Stack turns the corner, gets down to about the 5 or the 4, then gets walloped. Stays in bounds, picks up a couple yards there on 1st down, get closer to the end zone.
Yeah, Talkish able to keep him in bounds right there. Another one of those plays where the legs slipped out a little bit slick over there in the corner of the end zone.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier, Nathan. It's going to be when the sun eventually goes all the way down here and it gets a little bit cooler out, you're going to see some slippery conditions. I mean, it has to be. There was a soccer game here last night that got halted with about 10 minutes ago because of the rains that never really let up. So this field looked okay. I walked out to the hash mark earlier before the pregame. It wasn't too muddy, but of course, cleats abound here on the field. It's going to make it a little bit of a slick track here as we go forward. 2nd and goal from the 4, so that run went for about 6 yards.
Both Day and Stack in the backfield here for Manchester Valley.
Oh, and a bad snap. And Stack falls on it all the way back at the 20. I don't know if that was supposed to be a direct snap or not, Nathan, but both men turned and looked, and the ball was behind them in a hurry, and that's a huge loss for the Mavericks. It'll be a 3rd and goal from way back at about the 20-yard line.
That's one of those plays where you might think it was a direct snap because the snap went to the other side of the running back. And whether that was the idea or not, it was so wide to the left that all Stack could do was just fall on top of it. Another one of those miscues for either side. You go from 4th and 10 before the penalty, now 1st and goal. Then you get down to the 4-yard line. You lose 16 yards right there on the bad snap, and now you got to air it out on 3rd and goal from the 20-yard line.
Yeah, you wonder if Coach Kuntz has an idea here, trying to get half of it back, and then you're going for it on 4th down. We'll see what happens here on 3rd. Oh, and another bad snap on the ground. Snell corrals it. Snell throws complete to Salih, and he got back to the original stick, but not even really, still far back. I mean, it's going to be 4th and goal back at about the, I can't see, maybe 16.
Yeah, right around the 16-yard line, it looks like.
Moved it up a little bit now, maybe the 15, but that was an emergency plan right there when the ball was on the ground, and Snell did a great job to recover it. And they are going to try a field goal here. This is Ryder Fenner, sophomore, number 29. So you're looking at about a 36 or so yard field goal, 37 really. Well, no, that's not true. We're at the, but snap is down. Fenner's kick, plenty of distance. And Ryder Fenner kicks it. So the line of scrimmage was the 20 again. So I guess it was about a 35, 36 yarder. So nice job by Fenner. And they are on the board. 4 minutes remaining in the half. Winners Mill 6, Man Valley 3. I know that's a little bit disappointing for the Mavericks, but they did get points on the board there. So made something out of nothing there after the bad snap.
Yeah, and you wonder does the wetness of the ball come into play? That's the only thing I could think of something back-to-back plays like that, whether the center was trying to overcompensate because the first one was in the right spot, on the body of the player, just was too far wide to the left of Stack, but then that last one just dribbled across the ground, so maybe an overcorrection right there for the Manchester Valley center. We'll never know whether it was a direct snap or not, but bottom line for Manchester Valley, getting points on the board, huge, and now Winters Mill has a chance for a 4-minute drill.
Indeed they do, in all 3 timeouts, so plenty of time, and especially the way they want to ground and pound in the beginning here, at least this first half. They're expecting to stay the course, and they've got plenty of time to do it with 3 timeouts. So this will be Fenner to kick off right to left. And a nice booming kick from Fenner. Not a nice job by the 10th grader. It's a touchback, so the best situation there to pin Winters Mill back at the 18, or excuse me, the 20. I'm looking out at number 18, giving Fenner some high fives and kudos. And so the Falcons will begin from their own 20 with, like Nathan said, 4 minutes exactly and 3 timeouts.
So Winters Mill here already with a ton of yards on the ground so far in this one. Overall 77, 68 of those coming on the opening drive. They got a little bit away from their identity in that second possession. This is, keep in mind, just their 3rd possession of the game, and now it's going to be in a situation where they're going to try and bleed the rest of this clock down to make sure the Mavericks don't get the ball back.
Denning is in that shotgun. He's going to keep it. Gets around the first wave and gets around all 3 first pursuers. Nice job by Austin Denning. Those design runs are impressive when everyone at Winters Mill is doing their job, and there was a good example of that right there.
It's just enough to move the chains. He went out of bounds right about the 36 or 37-yard line, but they mark him down at the 31. Right at the 30-yard line. It's a gain of 10 on the first play for Denning.
They do wind the clock, so they say he was inbounds when he was contacted, I guess. But a good start for the Falcons, give him 10 more yards, so 87 yards on the ground so far. Almost 6 yards a run so far for Winters Mill. First and 10 from the 30. It's Denning again. Comes around almost the same sort of play. Does a couple stutter steps to create some space, but he stays in bounds, picks up about 4.
Austin Denning's on the carry.
The patience is what has impressed me so much for Denning, because he runs like a running back. He doesn't necessarily run like a normal quarterback would out of the backfield. He's got the downfield vision. He's got the patience. There's a lot of times where Le'Veon Bell comes to mind at the NFL level, that player that was just so patient and waited for the hole to open up. That play, perfect example where it didn't look like anything was there initially, but Denning's able to get 3 yards.
Yeah, officially a gain of 3. There's Andalina, and he scoots up past the 40-yard line. So Andalina should be enough, right? Yep, enough for a first down.
First down, Falcons.
So 2 on this drive so far, both from the ground, as we expect. And they're going 10 yards at a time here. Got enough, just enough to move the sticks. So up to the 40-yard line, 2:25 and counting on the clock. Again, still all 3 timeouts for Big Mill. Little misdirection. Oh, he had a receiver open, but Denning underthrew him. Tried to get it to Aiden Clements. Throwing against his body a little tougher there. I don't know even too the way he spun around in the backfield, whether that was a design play that way or not. If it was, he had a receiver open, but he just couldn't quite connect with him.
It's good play design, good misdirection in the backfield, and just running that corner route from the slot was Clements. But just one of those, when you don't throw the ball a lot, really hard to get into that rhythm, especially like we talked about on the last drive. Maybe the ball is a little bit slick, tough to get your footing. Just a whole bunch of factors there for Denning.
Little pitch toss. This is Phillips. And Phillips trying to get around, but Man Valley does a nice job to stretch that out. Give credit there to, it looks like number 10, Ethan Atkinson, with a tackle.
The game plan's clear here for Winters Mill. We'll see what Denning and Andalina can do up the middle, get Phillips out on the edge. That's the third or fourth time that they've run that exact play, maybe a little bit different of a formation, but getting him in space on that outside. Now, wide side of the field to the right, 3 receivers. Do they air it out on 3rd and 8?
3rd and 8, like Nathan said, from the 42. They do not. It's Denning on the run. Austin Denning has got a first down and more, and he's into Man Valley territory. So when in doubt, let Denning figure it out, and he does the rest. There's a player down. Looks like it could be 52, A.J. Whitney, and Coach Miller out on the knee with the athletic trainer. But Denning did enough to get the first down. So we'll pause just here, just not pause, the game is paused for just a moment while they tend to the injury. And while they do, it gives me a chance to let everybody know that big things are coming to Carroll County Sports coming soon. It's CMSportsNet Plus. It's the home for high school game coverage. We're building a new way at CMSportsNet to experience all the action, every stadium, every gym, live and on demand. Stay tuned for subscription details coming soon, and get ready to be part of the network built for you. Don't miss a minute of the action. It's your team, your game, your network. That's CMSportsNet Plus coming soon. So 1:23 remaining in the second quarter, and A.J. Whitney getting helped up, which is a good sign, and walking off on his own, which is another good sign for Falcons fans.
Big loss on the offensive line, though. Somebody that's been clearing the holes for the 3-headed monster that we've been talking about of Denning and Andalina and Phillips. 6 yards per carry so far. 19 carries overall for Winters Mill. Still, though, the question, Pat, minute 23. You got 54 yards to go to the end zone.
And the clock running.
No, 46 yards. They are in Manchester Valley territory, but you're right, clock running. At what point do they decide they're going to throw?
And/or burn a timeout here or two. They have all 3. Denning will use his legs again, and they've got a lot of openings. Ooh, met straight up. Oh, and there's a flag flies in. That was Atkinson who hit him. We'll wonder if that's a hold or whether they're going to get Atkinson for helmet-to-helmet, maybe?
I didn't see any helmet-to-helmet contact. That looked relatively clean to me. And that was first glance, of course.
Nope, they are going to call it. Ooh, yeah. All right, so now blowing the whistle here. Timeout. I think someone called a timeout. So Bernie Coons gets the explanation, and it's timeout Winters Mill. So the ball's down at the 31-yard line. Is that right? No, 26-yard line, I think, right?
Yeah, 26.
Yeah, 26. Big call there. Gets them into much more manageable territory here, too, with 58 seconds left.
Yeah, it's really touchdown. Not necessarily touchdown or bust here for Winters Mill, but how much do you trust Denning with his leg rather than with his legs combined, whether they keep it with him on the ground or
yeah.
see what he can do with just the right leg and try and make it a 6-point lead. But with the way he's running the ball right now, you still have 2 timeouts. If they're able to get out of bounds on one of these runs, maybe they try it again with Phillips on the outside to that left side. If they're able to get positive yards there and stop the clock a couple more times, maybe that's the strategy here. And right here, they're on the right hash, so Phillips in the game. That left side of the field will be open if they want to send him that direction. Earlier in the drive, this formation, Denning with a little shovel pass out to Phillips for the toss on that side.
1st and 10 from the 26. And a flag flies from the umpire. Oh, going to call a false start. So wrong way go the Falcons. We'll back them up 5. First and 15. Denning throwing. Oh, almost intercepted, or at least covered well by 19. Owen Hackler. Intended receiver was Luke Phillips, I believe, out of the backfield. Nope, take that back. It was Andolina, number 5. 5 and 9 are a little tough to see in the twilight here on the far side, but incomplete pass. And it'll be second and long.
That's an awesome play by a sophomore. Less than a minute to go in the half. If he doesn't make that play, it's likely a touchdown for Winters Mill. But just staying with the play, not giving up until the whistle blows.
Low snap again. Denning throwing again. And this time, it is intercepted. I think Caden Murphy, or Caden Murray, excuse me. Indeed, Caden Murray, senior, number 6. Almost the same play, Nathan. This time the D-back had great position. That's a turnover.
Yeah, and a bit of an underthrown ball there for Denning. That's what allowed Murray to camp under it, kind of like we talked about with Stack getting that game winner last week on the wheel route. This is just a traditional 9 ball, something that Winters Mill has had success with this season, especially in that season opener at home against Poolesville. Now with 43 seconds inside your own 10-yard line, maybe just a couple of kneel downs here. You don't want to be too aggressive and give Winters Mill a chance to add to this lead.
Right, especially since you get the ball to start the third quarter. So we'll see what Coach Kuntz and his staff want to do here. At the 5-yard line is Man Valley's offense. So the end zone right behind the shoulders of Bo Snell. And it'll be a straight hand to Stack. Connor Stack. Plenty of room to run now. He's all the way up to the 30-yard line. Past the 30, and a timeout called by Man Valley. So that's one way to get a big chunk play. 34 seconds, and you're up past the 30-yard line.
And that defense for Winters Mill was interesting. They were basically running a shell right there, right? They weren't trying to let anything beat them deep in a pass. They weren't necessarily man-to-man with the receivers on the outside. And because of the linebackers being about 7 to 10 yards off the line of scrimmage, that might have been what Bo Snell was making the audible at the line for, telling them, all right, we're just going to go up the middle with our best ball carrier and see what he can make happen. And now this end of the first half completely changes.
Absolutely.
About a 25-yard sprint there from Stack.
South Carroll 7, Century nothing in the second quarter. That's late in the second quarter there at Eldersburg. And the other game tonight, Tuscarora at Francis Scott Key. Key leads 7-6 late first quarter. I'm checking out our YouTube stream, so we're streaming those games for you if you want to bounce around and check out week 4 of Carroll County High School football in and around the county. Salih catches that pass. Oh, it's a little hook and ladder, and it's Connor Stack. And Connor Stack is going to beat everybody into the end zone. Well, how about that play? Salih caught it. Little Boise State, shades of Boise State. That's one way to take the lead. You got your mouth open, Nathan.
Speechless. I can't believe that worked. I mean, the amount of time and practice probably spent to make sure that play works. And that's not a play you're running more than once in a season, right? But for Coach Kuntz and his staff to have the confidence in his veterans to go to that play right there. You needed 70 yards in about 30 seconds to try and make something happen. That's one way to do it. Get your best receiver the ball to Salih, pitch it to your best ball carrier and Stack. And, you know, when he's in the open field, not many players are going to have the chance to catch him.
Now the kick went through, but there was a flag on the far side. We'll see what they call here. But you got to figure Fenner's leg is good enough to go 5 yards back and still make this kick. So we'll back them up 5 and do it again. But there's a buzz here in the stands, and rightfully so. Salik caught it at around the 35 or so, and then Stack just following him. Simple pitch, and then there was no one down the home sideline. And he outraced the Winners Mill defender. Oh, and the kick is blocked. So remember that for later on. Instead of a 4-point lead, it's only a 3-point game. 9-6 in favor of Man Valley with some fireworks here late in the second quarter.
Looked like Tejada and Kolkemp were both there on that block for Winners Mill. But you're right, Pat. The buzz, the vibe here in Manchester, completely different than it was even just 10 minutes ago. Remember, Winners Mill went down, scored on the opening possession, took over half of that first quarter. Since then, Manchester Valley has stayed in it. They've limited what Denning and the rest of the rushers have been able to do on the ground. They got their 3 points on the last drive after the bad snap. They break out the trickery. They go to the back page of the playbook with less than 30 seconds to go in the first half, and it's a 70-yard sprint for Stack.
So you don't think we'll see that again this year for Manchester?
I don't think so. I mean, now that that's on film,
true.
every team's going to be on the lookout for that play. But
good point.
What a perfect time to bring it out, though. No, your offense had been dead for a majority of this first half if you're Manchester Valley. Yes, you got the 3 points, but they needed some big play to go in their favor. Their defense has started to play really well, and, man, that's just an unbelievable play call. That's great coaching, great execution, great across the board for Manchester Valley, and now, pending another crazy play on the Winners Mill side, they'll take a lead into the half.
Indeed, 19 seconds as Fenner booms it out of the end zone. So Ryder, Fenner, a pair of touchbacks here in the opening half. And, yeah, I'm still a little bit stoked for that play. You don't see that too often in Carroll County, let alone anywhere in high school football.
That hyped me up.
Well, it stunned you first,
yeah.
And then you had a chance to plenty chance to break it down. That was cool. That was cool to see. And maybe not risky, but look, if it's a bad snap there, or a bad pitch exchange, it could go wrong, and it's on the wrong side of the field. So a little bit of roll of the dice there from Bernie Kuntz and company, and it paid off for the Mavericks.
It's so hard to execute. Everything has to go right because you got to complete the pass, first of all. Salee was able to do that. Then Stack being trailing at the perfect time. They get the wall set up along the sideline, and Stack uses his legs for the rest.
Final seconds tick away, and we have reached halftime at the Stable in Manchester, and some exciting finish to that half. Manchester Valley leads Winners Mill 9-6. I was going to ask you, Nathan, for your first half impressions, but we just got it there with the last 30 seconds of that half. Pretty impressive play, and it gives Man Valley that nice little surge into halftime.
Yeah, and we talked about the Winners Mill rushing attack. Now Manchester Valley up to 112 yards on the ground in the first half after that 70-yarder for Connor Stack. Just what an unbelievable end to the half. It's been a great game. We talked about it was going to be in the trenches. This is rushing football first and foremost, and I expect it to be just as close in the back 24.
Yep, we will take a break now, and halftime will be here, and then we come back. Nathan and I will switch roles, and we'll do some more play-by-play and analysis for you. But halftime here in Manchester, the Mavericks lead Winners Mill 9-6. Don't go away. There'll be a halftime break, and then Nathan and I will be right back to give you the second half.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the field your Manchester Valley Marching Band under the direction of Lisa Castellanos, assisted by Christian Hartman and Sonny Long. Tonight our show is shocking, positively shocking, smashing, shagadelic, and we never miss. Our mission should be choose respect is presenting you with a mix of the most punny sky teams of all time. Here's Mission Impossible. behave. You remember the International Day of Admission. Here's Soul Bossa Nova. Yeah, baby. We prefer our final shaken, not stirred. Here's the iconic theme from James Bond. We hope you enjoyed our show. Let's give the band another big hand. Okay, you probably noticed this evening there's a lot of little football players out there. The North Carroll Rec Council Colts are represented by these coaches and skids on the track. Let's start out with the Pit Bulls. Their head coach is Ryan Haynes. U7, Rick Fuller. U9, Justin Otto. U10, Brad Durden. U11, Sean Bulliard. U12, Justin Wilhelm. And U13, Jacob Hall. Give these kids a big hand. These are your future Mavericks.
He was booking it too. Yeah, they're done with it.
What up, Manchester Valley? We are back for our third annual hot dog race. It is going to be a special one tonight as we have all girls racing. Each race is a 15-meter dash, and the competitors are none other than giant hot dogs. That's right, mustard, ketchup, and relish will battle it out for bragging rights. And don't forget, as you enter tonight, you voted with raffle tickets for who you thought would win. After each race, we'll draw one winning ticket from the winning hot dog box. If your number is called, you'll score a Manchester Valley Spirit Winner beanie and a free meal from the concession stand. And in the final race, the raffle prize gets even bigger, a grand prize Amazon gift card. First up, the girls' hot dog race. Let's meet our competitors. Wearing the mustard hot dog, it's Peyton Lamont. Racing as the ketchup hot dog, we've got Allison Gore. And in the relish hot dog costume, it's Adeline Neal. Maverick fans, who do you think is taking this one? Mustard? Ketchup? Or relish? Let's get them started together. Everyone join in. 3, 2, 1, go! And the winner of race 1 is Relish, Adeline Neal. Now it's time. If you voted for Adeline Neal, you're in the running for a Maverick beanie and a free meal from the concession stand. Let's roll our winner. And congratulations to ticket number 2433803. I'll repeat that again. 2433803. If you want to see them up to the booth to claim your prize. Our next up, it's time for the second hot dog race going on tonight. Kendall Walton. In the tandem hot dog, it's Rosalie Leticia. And rounding out the field in relish, we got Lila Fenley. Mavericks fans, let's hear it for our race 2 hot dog racers. Let's send them off. Count it down with me. 3, 2, 1, go! And the winner of race 2 is Mustard Kendall Walton. And now time for another raffle drawing. If you voted for Kendall Walton, it's one's wearing Maverick beanie and a free concession stand meal. The winning ticket number is 2, 4, 3, 7, 4, 6. I'll repeat that again. 2, 4, 3, 7, 4, 6. Congrats for our final race. For the winner of the Amazon gift card, the number is 1811124. I'll repeat that again. 1811124. Let's give it up one more time for our hot dog racers. Rosalie, Allison, Adeline, Kendall, Peyton, and Lila. And all of our rifle winners tonight. Thank you, Mavericks fans, for bringing the energy to the 3rd annual hot dog racers. Enjoy your prizes and let's get ready for the second half of the varsity football game. Go Mavericks!
Okay, let's see if I can get the Manchester Valley sponsors in. The MDHS Athletic Cruises would like to thank our 25-26 sponsors. Maverick level sponsors, Autocorrect Car Center, Maverick Time, Main Street Market and Deli with County Line, Lisa McIntyre with Iron Valley Real Estate, West Dentistry, Jenny Ricker with the Bob Mosquito Team, Pertuco's Bakery, Liberty Fuel, White Pine Paving, Carroll Community College, Rocky Hills Acres, and the Cornerstone Agency. Our Navy level sponsors, Gallagher and Team Dentistry. Our silver level sponsors, EMG Law Offices, Manchester Pharmacy, Greenhouse Station, and Michael Law Office, Farmers and Merchants Bank, Huge Trash, Town Pride, Middle Market, Dutch Corner, and Genoa to Go of Manchester. Our ball drop sponsors, Evolve Sports Performance, Copper for City, Couple Line for Recipients, and the Hampstead Volunteer Fire Department. Please support our local sponsors. Thank you.
All right, welcome back, everybody. CMSportsNet coverage of Carroll County Athletic League High School football. Halftime is almost over here at Manchester. the stable in Manchester Valley, where the Mavericks have a 9-6 lead over visiting Winters Mill. Pat Stetzer and Nathan Schwartz back with you. I want to look at the team stats, Nathan, before we get started in the third quarter. And we talked about this. Check out the rushing yards, pretty much dead even with the teams. Not many passing yards through the air here tonight, and the one turnover. But the play we saw to end the second quarter really sparked Man Valley.
Yeah, I'm still replaying that in my mind, thinking how were they able to get that to work? They draw it up at the exact moment that they need. Officially now 66 yards for Connor Stack after the 4-yard completion to Salee. Perfect play, perfect execution. Manchester Valley leads for the first time tonight now going into this second half, and they get the ball to start this second half.
Impressed with the way Winters Mill ran the ball early. Man Valley's defense kind of started to figure them out a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see the second half who makes the adjustments. And Nathan and I will be swapping roles, so you'll hear Nathan kind of giving you the play-by-play here in the second half. He'll take us home here at Manchester. But, just keep, before you do, Nathan, quick keys to the second half in terms of if you're Winters Mill. What did Coach Miller was talking about on the sideline, you think, with the Falcons?
Well, I think you got to continue to get Austin Denning into a rhythm. He's the catalyst of this offense. He's going to have the ball in his hands at some point on every single play. So whether that's getting him out into the edge where he was successful at in the first half or keeping him going up the middle, that's going to be huge. And on the other side for Manchester Valley, continue to ride that momentum. You get the lead, now you're going to get possession to start this second half. If Manchester Valley is able to get points on this opening possession, whether it's a field goal, whether it's a touchdown, that'll carry them probably the rest of the way.
So Winters Mill will kick off, and Man Valley will receive. And like Nathan said, we'll see going forward here who makes the adjustments and who can get either, whether it's Man Valley another county win or Winters Mill their first county win of 2025.
All right, here we go. Austin Denning, the key for Winters Mill, kicks it off, and the second half is underway here from Manchester. Ziegenfuss breaks free. Ziegenfuss taken down at the 45-yard line, but what a burst to start the second half for Manchester Valley.
I thought momentarily that Ziegenfuss was going to get called for having a knee down on the opening kick, but I guess he hadn't corralled the ball yet, so he was able to get up, and a nice return almost up to midfield. Great start for the Mavericks.
It's exactly the momentum that we were alluding to, Pat. Wyatt Ziegenfuss, the senior, seen him out at receiver in the first half. He'll take a breather after that nice return of about 30 yards to begin this second half, and that's great starting field position for the Mavericks. First and 10 at their own 45-yard line.
Yeah, all the way up to the 45, so right away the offensive plan shifts a bit if you're the Mavericks, and again, still Stack out in the backfield for Man Valley.
108 rushing yards for Connor Stack in the first half. It goes to Salee on a screen play to begin this offensive drive for Manchester Valley. Out to midfield, gain of 5 for Walter Salee, who had 2 catches for 11 yards in that opening half, including the catch and then the pitch on the hook and ladder.
A short little pass play, and maybe the biggest play of his season so far to be able, like you said, the execution had to be perfect, and it was, and it goes for a long Mavericks touchdown.
Salee had a 40-yard touchdown last week. He's been heavily involved in the passing game so far of what it's been. Only 4 passes completed for Bo Snell so far out of 6 attempts. Another screen this time to the right side of the formation. It's a low pass intended for Lane Saunders, who was open a couple of times in the end zone in that first half, Pat.
Yeah, and you mentioned that Jarrell Baker, who was one of the top runners on this team last year, playing a lot of defense this year. That was him on the pass defense, or pass pursuit rather, but that play never really developed. It was kind of a low throw. An incomplete pass brings up third down.
Now 3rd and 5 from midfield here for Bo Snell and the Manchester Valley offense. 9-6 Manchester Valley leads just 47 seconds into the third quarter. The Mavericks go trips to the right here on 3rd and medium. Snell in the shotgun. It is Stack to his right. Salee, the lone receiver on the left side of the formation. Snell looking downfield, in trouble, and he's wrapped down.
Victor Tejada.
Victor Tejada's been in the backfield a couple of times tonight. He gets a big sack on third down, and that brings out the punt team for Manchester Valley.
Nice pressure that time. Poutre and Tejada up the middle, and that's got to feel good for Tejada, who had that penalty down there the last time when we saw him really mad at himself. So little bits of revenge of avenging themselves in the game could be a lift for the Falcons.
So it is Snell for the punt. Keontae Torrance to receive for Winters Mill. A low liner. Torrance lets it go. It takes a big Mavericks bounce past the 25-yard line. And it'll be downed right at the 25-yard line. So that's where the Winters Mill offense, led by Austin Denning, comes back out onto the field. Pat in that first half for Denning. Nothing through the air, 0 of 6. They tried to get the pass game going, but couldn't do much. But on the ground, 11 carries, 77 yards for Denning. Both of those led the team.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, 0 for 6 is obviously not what you want, but they know their ground games are bread and butter. We'll see if they sprinkle a few more passes, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're done throwing the ball. And it is only a 3-point game here.
And Elena with 24 yards on the ground. Phillips with 18. Denning with 77. 119 combined between those three. To begin the third quarter, it's Andalina going nowhere. Loss of a few for Andalina to begin the second half of the Winters Mill offense.
Salih and company for the Mavericks made sure that play went nowhere. And he lost a bunch of yards there on first down. So a big play for loss for the Mavericks defense.
2nd and 15 all the way back to the 20-yard line for Winters Mill.
And you just wonder, Nathan, this offense hasn't had too many in the first 3 weeks, too many behind-the-chains plays. Are they built to get back from behind the sticks? Not saying they can't do it, but there's such a run-heavy offense that going behind the sticks is just not what you want to do with your Winters Mill.
And they go empty here on 2nd and long. Denning, the lone player in the backfield.
Watch for the legs.
Quarterback power. Denning escapes to the right side, uses a stiff arm, but then is met by 3 Mavericks closing in at the original line of scrimmage.
Owen Hackler was in there getting up and getting some love from his defensive coach, 19 for Man Valley, and there's just not a lot of room. Yeah, Robert Hummel as well. We've called his name a few times. So we're seeing the defenses start to sort of flex their muscle here on both sides. I was going to mention that was a great stand for Winters Mill in the first shot because Man Valley had the momentum after the hook and ladder play, and now Man Valley's defense is doing the same thing to Winters Mill's offense.
That was a gain of 3 on 2nd down, so make it 3rd and 12 from their own 23. Pivot, dump off, short after the deflection. It's Colton Nunn, one of the leaders on this team coming into the season. He said that there was a lot for Manchester Valley to make up on both sides of the ball. He's doing whatever he can to get Manchester Valley back to 500 here tonight.
That was Robert Hummel again in Denning's face. We've heard a lot of him tonight. Robert Hummel, one of the leaders as well, number 56. Junior inside linebacker and plays some O-line as well. So big players making big plays here, and it's punt formation time for Winters Mill.
Jaden Jacobs to punt it away for Winters Mill. Salih back to receive for Manchester Valley. A lot of hang time here, but a short kick. Bounces at the 46, goes past midfield, and it loses momentum at the Manchester Valley 47-yard line. So both teams have touched the ball in this second half, Pat, just a little over 3 minutes down, but not much doing for either offense.
Yeah, it's been a defensive battle, except for that hook and ladder, pretty much since the middle of the first quarter. You had the field goal by Fenner, and then the touchdown, long touchdown from Salih to Connor Stack. Snell to Salih to Connor Stack if you want keeping score at home. But ever since those first couple drives with Winters Mill, the offense has gotten a bit of a slog. So credit Man Valley's defense for that.
So again, good starting field position here for Manchester Valley in the second half. The first drive began at the 45. This one at the 47 as Snell drops back to pass. He's taking a deep shot down the sideline. Salih unable to haul it in. He's got a big frame, tried to go with the one hand, a little bit out of his reach, but you got to like the approach there for Manchester Valley on 1st and 10.
I think that was Talkish, number 20, for Winters Mill with the pass defense there too. But yeah, go for it, right? Go for it. Early here, trying to set the set the statement early here in the third quarter and see what Man Valley can do. And they have 3-point lead here in a good field position. I kind of like the selection. Let's try to beat them long and get a chunk play out of it.
Bo Snell is 4 of 8 for 23 yards so far tonight. Salee with 3 of those catches for 16 yards. Snell again. Salee again on the drag route past midfield. Minimal gain. I'll give him 3 yards out to midfield on the dot after the tackle by Winters Mill.
Poutre, I believe, on the tackle, 54.
Good to see him back out on the field, as is A.J. Whitney, who went down with an injury in that first half. So 2 of the main starters on defense for Winters Mill back in there at full strength, down by 3 with 8 to go in the third quarter. 3rd and 6 here for Manchester Valley. They did move that out to the Winters Mill 49-yard line after the initial spot. Motion makes it trips to the left here for the Mavericks. On 3rd and 6. Stack in the backfield to Snell's left.
Pressure up the middle.
Snell lets it fly. Saunders can't get it, and it's intercepted. That's Isaiah Talkish coming up with a big turnover for Winters Mill.
He pursued it all the way. He kept his eyes on the ball, had his head turned, and almost read Snell better than the receiver did. And Talkish had made that play earlier, the nice pass defense. So a good job there by Isaiah Talkish, the senior, 5'9", 165 pounds, defensive back, and Man Valley's first turnover of this game.
The second interception for Talkish this season in just game number 4, and Winters Mill is back in business. 1st and 10 inside their own 20-yard line.
One silver lining there for Man Valley, Nathan, if you will, is it's basically a long punt, so it does flip the field. But yes, offense back on the field for the Falcons.
First play, a rush, no surprise for the Falcons. Out to the left side, maybe a gain of a yard or 2 for Winters Mill to begin this possession. And now the momentum back in the Falcons' hands after the 3-and-out to begin the half. Your offense wasn't able to do much, but now the takeaway. When you're able to win the turnover battle, a lot of times you're going to wind up winning the ball game. Going to be imperative for Winters Mill here to at least drain clock, but of course the goal to at least tie the game with a field goal. Pitch out to the right side. Phillips taken down from behind. It's Salee in the backfield.
Making a play, Walter Salee. That play had some positive yards in the offing. If that cutback by Andalina, or was it Phillips? Either way, a cutback there, he was going to get some positive yards out of that, but Salee, great pursuit, and that sets up, actually, there was no gain, so it's 3rd and long now for Winters Mill.
3rd and 8 from the 20. Manchester Valley's been right around the 45-yard line on their first 2 possessions of this half. Winters Mill's been backed up deep in their own territory.
Just not where you want to be if you're Coach Miller and the Falcons offense to this point of the season. 3rd and long, it's just not suitable for the way they want to run their offense.
Phillips, the running back, to the left of Denning in the shotgun on 3rd and 8. Manchester Valley brings 5 out route. Catches made, but it's short of the line to gain.
First completion.
It's Cameron Scheimer, the junior, in there to make the catch. And after a quick discussion, it'll be the punter, Jaden Jacobs, to go back out there for the Falcons.
Yeah, I don't think there was too much of a debate there. I mean, the out route to the sideline just wasn't enough to get the first down. It was not the crispest of throws either, so even if Scheimer makes the catch, he's not going to have a chance to turn his body and go. So got a couple yards out of it, but did keep Man Valley's offense away with that turnover. Now it's a punt.
Manchester Valley looking to stay ahead in the battle of field position. That's a heck of a coverage right there by Winters Mill. That was number 72, Shane Kelly.
One of their big boys, too. So a nice job. And I think Salim did make a miss, but the momentum kind of carried him down. Once the knee touches in high school, plays dead.
But still, good field position for Manchester Valley. That's been the name of the game in this third quarter. Over halfway through that third quarter are we now with 5:14 to go. Score remains 9-6 in favor of Manchester Valley. If you just happen to be joining us, the Mavericks 1-2 overall, 1-0 in the Carroll County Athletic League so far. A 24-20 win last week against Francis Scott Key right here at home. Winters Mill's undefeated, but all 3 wins coming in non-county games. So this is the county opener for the Falcons. Here's Connor Stack, a give off tackle to the right. Gain of about 2 yards for Manchester Valley to begin their 3rd possession of this second half.
Gain of 2, 2nd and 8.
Yeah, just a short gain there for Stack. And we saw them swapping out running backs in the first half. Did we see that from Man Valley? But it's been Stack for the most part. We had John Day in there a little bit as well. But they're going to ride the guys they know they're big playmakers and give some other guys, sprinkle them in when they can. But it's Stack for Winters Mill and basically Denning and Phillips and Andalina. Stack for Man Valley, Phillips, Denning, and Andalina for Winters Mill.
Stack up to 110 yards on the ground now. That's the total number as well for Manchester Valley. Stack again. Forward progress takes him down to the 40-yard line. Gain of 3 there on 2nd down and long, making it 3rd and medium again. This is right where Manchester Valley's been all night long, Pat, but a lot of the time they haven't been able to convert on these 3rd downs.
Yeah, it was a nice little misdirection, handoff to Stack, and he had his legs moving, but again, I think you mentioned this, Nathan. Again, it's clear conditions. There's barely a breeze and there's no rain, but the field is a little slick. We had a lot of rain yesterday, and it's just that time of night where the grass gets a little bit, the condensation, if you will, on the ground. So footing could be an issue. We've seen a few slips, nothing major, but I think that one, Stack had a few more yards under him, and just the ground got him.
Ahead of this 3rd down, keep in mind Manchester Valley has had a lot of opportunities for big plays in the passing game that they have not been able to capitalize on just yet. 3rd and 5 from the 40. Winters Mill showing blitz.
And they do.
Snell, not a lot of time, now throws it up. Salee in a fight, and here comes the flag. It was Talkish who had the interception on the last drive, interfering with Salee. This is going to be an automatic 1st down for Manchester Valley.
Yeah, probably the right call. Both guys were going for it, but Salee with his hands extended, and I think Talkish had a couple tugs along the way to try to not have Salee create space. Turns into be a pass interference call, and that's enough for a 1st down. They'll move the chains for the Mavericks.
So it was at the 40. It goes all the way to the Winters Mill 45. A 15-yard penalty, and the ball moves over to the right hash. Positive result for the Mavericks on 3rd down.
And it flips the ball into, like you said, Falcons territory. So with the clock at 3:23 remaining in the 3rd quarter, Man Valley has it in Wintersville territory for the 2nd time.
Twins to the left on a new set of downs for the Mavericks. Snell through the air, wheel route behind his intended target of Caleb Rostek Allen, the junior receiver.
Yeah, I'm not sure Rostek Allen was looking.
2nd down.
Just didn't quite materialize. There was some pressure there by Snell, but Snell saw the open receiver and wanted to get it out of his hands. Just incomplete, but a pretty good play design there. I don't think that's maybe the first time we've seen that one from the Mavericks, but they'll try again on 2nd and 10.
They had that slot fade on the pick play in the first half where they couldn't connect. And Manchester Valley looking to capitalize on another Winters Mill penalty. 5 of them for 41 yards, resulting in 3 Manchester Valley 1st downs so far tonight. So after the incompletion, it's 2nd down and 10. The Mavericks back to the ground with Stack. Winters Mill taking him down at the 40-yard line. Another minimal gain for the power back Stack, who's up to 118 now on the ground.
Back-to-back 100-yard games then for Stack, and they look like we may have a cramp here in the middle of Winters Mill's defense.
And it's Poutre again.
Might have been the same thing he was dealing with back in the 2nd quarter.
Remember, he had the play, the PBU, to save a touchdown. And then after the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, he hit the grass, and we were a little bit confused as to why. And now I think we can paint the clearer picture. Just cramping here for one of the veteran Winters Mill players in the middle of their defense.
Yeah, and he can't afford to lose too many guys, and it looks like he is going to try to work that out and get over to his sideline, but he'll gut through it. He wants to be out there making plays for his team for sure.
A couple of his teammates helping him off. As we reset with 2:57 to go in the third quarter. No points yet in this third frame. Week 4 of Carroll County Athletic League action. One of 2 county matchups tonight. The other one out in Eldersburg between South Carroll and Century. Motion on 3rd and 5. It's a jet sweep to the left. And it's Noah Ferrano short of the line to gain. Maybe a yard there for the Manchester Valley sophomore. And it brings up 4th down.
He did get a couple positive yards, so we'll see what Coach Coons wants to do here on 4th and short. But yeah, Nick Ferrano on the sweep. A lot of sophomores on the roster, and Coach Coons and the Mavericks staff used a good bit of them. So we were mentioning that last night on the Westminster Liberty game, where 10, I think, sophomores on the outside, and a lot of them factor in. So good to see sophomores getting that varsity action. Bodes well for them down the road.
There's 5 sophomores on this Mavericks roster. Owen Hackler had a PBU earlier in the game. Ferrano's had a couple of touches tonight.
And Fenner has the field goal.
Right.
Well, they're going to go for it.
4th and 2 from the Winters Mill 37. 2 receivers to the right. Sully alone on the left side. Stack in the backfield to the left of Snell.
Winters Mill stacking the box.
And they bring heat. Stack. Stuffed up, then gets the first down.
Boy, he hit his own man, Nathan, in the back. Could have been disastrous, but he kept his feet and got enough for the first down. Nice run by Connor Stack there to move the chains.
He gets hit behind the line of scrimmage, has to recalibrate where he is on the field. He sees an opening to the left side of the formation. He needed 2, he got 3, and it's a 1st down and 10 for Manchester Valley.
You got those big teammates in front of you, and you bump into one of them, you have to recalibrate quickly, and Connor Stack did, kept the center of gravity down, and Winters Mill swarmed quickly. Wasn't sure at first if he was going to get the line to gain, but he did, and that's a big one with about 70 seconds to go here in this third quarter.
John Day is checked into the backfield as the running back, giving Stack a breather here on 1st and 10 as Manchester Valley goes to the air. Snell chased from behind, he throws, and it's complete across the middle. Complete to Ferrano. Again getting involved, one of the sophomores.
We got a flag back here, Nathan, around the 39-yard line.
Flags down at the Manchester Valley, right around where the line of scrimmage was, about 5 yards behind the line.
Roughing the passer.
Roughing the passer on Winters Mill. And because of where the catch was made, this might be a half the distance to the goal penalty.
Add some insult to injury there, too. Luke Phillips came up a little bit slow. Jake Andolina, a little bit slow after trying to pursue the quarterback. He's still in there, I believe, but he was favoring his arm. So that ball's down around the 11-yard line, 12-yard line?
11-yard line. 1st and 10 at the 11 for Manchester Valley. Essentially a goal-to-go situation. Day remains the back. It's a give to him. Off tackle to the left, and he's taken down right at the line. No gain for Day. Tejada there. Whitney there for Winters Mill.
Yeah, 2 of those leaders in the middle of that defense are going to make this tough, or try to make it tough for the Mavericks to run in between the tackles. So what have we seen tonight a little bit, Nathan? We've seen them get around the edge on the jet sweeps. Now it's shorter field here, so you're going to want to use probably the inside game here, but we'll see what Stack and company have here on offense, and Snell as well. They got both Stack and Day in the backfield now, so you would assume it's some sort of power front.
And Snell goes under center for the first time tonight. He hands off to Stack.
Oh.
Tejada in the backfield for a TFL.
Big play. Big play by Tejada, and also you just mentioned Whitney, both of them on that play there too. They were using Day as a fullback and trying to get Stack going, but Winters Mill spelled that out well. That's the end of the third quarter.
That does bring 000s to the scoreboard here in Manchester. A quiet third quarter for both offenses, but Manchester Valley is threatening, look to extend on this lead. Pat, it's been a game so far tonight that's been determined by what's happened on the ground, and in about a 3rd and 13 situation, Manchester Valley is going to have an interesting decision here coming out of the quarter break, knowing that you have a field goal kicker in Ryder Fenner that is capable of making a kick from this distance.
Yeah, it's already in his range. He had a 35, 36-yarder back in the first half. I would think if you're Man Valley and you're Coach Kuntz, you're drawing up 2 plays here to try to get this in the end zone. You're figuring that a touchdown here doesn't end the game necessarily. Plenty of time left, anything can happen. But the 9-point lead, the 2-score, 2-possession game or whatever you want to say is more foreboding for Winters Mills the way they run their offense.
Once again, 9-6 in favor of Manchester Valley. Austin Denning got the scoring started in that first quarter with a 14-yard score. Fenner added a field goal in the second quarter for Manchester Valley, which made it 6-3. But the only other points of the game come on a hook and ladder. Total of 70 yards on the play, 4 yards on a completion from Snell to Salih. And then Salih was able to pitch it behind him to Connor Stack, who took it 66 yards the rest of the way for a Manchester Valley touchdown. The second touchdown of the game, coming with about 19 seconds to go in the first half. Nothing in that third quarter. Now the Mavericks in a essentially goal-to-go situation to begin the fourth.
Quick score update from Eldersburg. You mentioned South Carroll Century. Cavaliers 7, Century 0. And it looks like the Cavaliers are about to march in and try to get in. Also, we have another game, Tuscarora and FSK, being played in Uniontown. I'll give you that one in a second.
Stack on third down is taken down right around the 10-yard line. Minimal gain on third and long for Manchester Valley. Now, what does Coach Kuntz do here?
While he waits, we got a halftime score. Just hit halftime in Uniontown. Francis Scott Key 24 and Tuscarora 20. CMSportsNet is giving you both those games as well. So if you want to pop around and see Week 4 Carroll County Athletic League away from this game for a moment. South Carroll did get into the end zone there, and it's a 2-score game there at the Castle in Eldersburg. But you're right, they are going to line up for the field goal.
So it's Fenner, the sophomore, who hit from 30-plus earlier. This from about 25 out, and it's wide to the left, no good.
A low liner that time as opposed to the last one where Fenner drilled it, but no good. So Winters Mills defense holds.
Defense and rushing. That's all this game has had so far, and it continues to be that way. A missed field goal for Ryder Fenner, and it remains a 9-6 lead for Manchester Valley.
Remember, too, Nathan, that Man Valley had an extra point blocked after the hook and ladder touchdown. So that's why we sit here at a 3-point game.
And Austin Denning's extra point after his rushing touchdown was wide to the right.
Kicking been a premium here tonight. Points at a premium.
Sure.
Fenner has the field goal, and that's about it.
Funny enough, a field goal would tie the game at 9 if Winters Mill gets into a situation where they have to go as Denning as a last resort on the field goal if they're unable to get it in for 6. But it is Denning back out there for Winters Mill. 1st and 10, new set of downs. It's Denning with a keeper up the middle. He's got wiggle room, but he's taken down by the turf monster inside the 30.
That slick turf monster will get you. But a nice run, nice start there to pick up 9 yards, looks like, on first down. We'll see if the Falcons can get back into that rhythm they had on those first couple drives of the game.
Denning with 89 yards on the ground after that 9-yard scamper, bringing up 2nd down and short for the Winters Mill offense, who have really struggled since that opening drive, which took over half of the first quarter. But since then, Winters Mill's been able to get some progress, but they haven't been able to stack first downs or really move past midfield. Here's a pitch. Nothing doing originally, but somehow the Winters Mill back able to get to the initial line of scrimmage and get forward progress, a 2-yard gain to move the chains.
It should have been about a 2 or 3 or even a 4-yard loss, but I think that was Phillips who sort of stuck his feet in the ground, got good traction, and surged forward, knowing he only needed a couple yards for a first down.
I think that was Andalina actually getting the carry for Winters Mill. But it could be anybody. It could be him. It could be Phillips. It could be Denning, all in single digits, of course.
That's why you're here, Nathan. Your young eyeballs helping me out, and you have the binoculars.
Yeah, as I'm using the binoculars as we speak.
It's okay.
Andalina, a give to this left side. He gets a block from Phillips, but then taking him down
John
is
Day.
John Day.
And that was good pursuit because had he not gotten there, Andalina had a lot more room to roam on the sideline. So a nice pursuit there by John Day.
Under 10 minutes now in regulation. 3-point game and the county opener for Winters Mill. Manchester Valley won by a score last week at home against Francis Scott Key, and they're up by a score again, trying to make it 2 straight wins after losing 9 of their previous 10 dating back to last season. Second and long for the Winters Mill offense at their own 31.
Twin receivers on both sides. Pressure up the middle from Day.
Play action, Denning deep downfield.
Oh.
Broken up. Bradley Lang in coverage for Manchester Valley.
Bradley Lang on the coverage.
And now there appears to be an injured Falcon at the line of scrimmage. A lot of injuries tonight for Winters Mill. This is number 62, Cody Hughes. Down right at the 30-yard line.
He's on one knee, so it looks like maybe they're tending to the lower half of his left leg. Could be an ankle, but that was a nice play where the receiver, one of the receivers is also a running back, comes out from the backfield, and a tough throw with 2 Man Valley defenders on Andalina, and a good job, like you said, on pass coverage by the Mavericks. Set up the Falcons again in a place they do not want to be, 3rd and long, as they tend to Hughes, a junior lineman for the Falcons. Get back in here for a moment and talk to you about CMSportsNet Plus. Big things are coming to Carroll County Sports. Coming soon at CMSportsNet Plus, the home for high school sports coverage. We're creating a new way to experience all the action at every stadium and every gym, live and on demand. Get ready to be a part of the network built for you, and don't miss a minute of the action. It's your team, your game, and your network, all coming soon on CMSportsNet Plus.
Excited for that, Pat?
I am. It'll be fun. It'll be our way to give all the local high school sports to everyone in the community and every stadium and gym. So that's football and soccer in the fall, and volleyball as well inside, and basketball and wrestling in the winter, and then lacrosse in the spring. We'll be looking forward to giving it all to you soon.
The coverage that all these teams deserve. 3rd and 10 for Winters Mill in their own territory. A big blitz for Manchester Valley. Denning lets it fly, and the pass is caught. Just short of midfield is Evan Catania for a Winters Mill first down.
Boy, Denning stood in the teeth of that pressure and underthrew it a little bit, but Catania knew that he had some space to roam in the middle of the field there, and a big pickup for Winters Mill.
An 18-yard gain on 3rd and 10 for the Falcons, and that's the biggest play really since the first quarter for this offense.
Could be the boost they need. Still got 9 minutes to go here, down by 3 points, but they are now at midfield, or close to midfield. So a nice chunk play there to get the Falcons back in scoring range, scoring threat. Still got a long way to go here, though.
Denning's now got 2 completions for 23 yards after that 18-yard connection with Catania.
And let's see if he jumped. He did, yeah. Man Valley.
They blow that one dead.
Yep. Doesn't have to be much in high school. Once you cross the line there, Nathan, they're going to get you for the offside, the encroachment. And it'll be a 1st and 5 for Winters Mill.
Looked like it was Angst, one of those sophomores we were alluding to earlier.
Growing pains there, and again, trying to make a play.
So that makes it 1st and 5 into Manchester Valley territory at the Mavericks 46. As Denning gets the play in from the sideline. Clock running, about to hit the 8-minute mark to go. Winters Mill down by 3. They haven't scored since the first quarter. The 3-headed monster of Andalina, Phillips, and Denning in the backfield on 1st and medium. Denning hands off to Andalina. Past the 45, gain of 2.
Looked like a little bit of not a bad handoff, but a little bit of unsureness there. Cost him a yard or 2 there. You see Andalina putting his hand up to come off. So 2nd and closer now. I got maybe got just a yard, actually. Maybe 2nd and, 2 yards. 2nd and a long 3. And looks like Ian Vasquez coming in to replace Angelina momentarily.
And we haven't seen a lot of him. Pat, you mentioned Jarrell Baker was a rusher last year. We've yet to see him touch the ball offensively today. He's been in on a couple of plays on the Winters Mill defense, though. Vasquez lines up in the slot here on 2nd down and 3 from the Manchester Valley 44.
It gives the Falcons trips to the right, and it will be Denning with his legs.
Denning taken down at the line of scrimmage. Angst was in there after the offsides penalty a few plays ago to begin this set of downs. So making up for the miscue is Angst. Robert Hummel in there as well.
Blake Pitta as well, 66. So a lot of guys we've called their names multiple times here, and it sets up a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3.
Right in that 3 to 4 yard range. Not exactly at the 44-yard line, a little bit closer to the 45 here for Winters Mill. So we'll call it an unofficial 3rd and 3.5.
Man Valley sideline trying to get the home fans into it, make some noise here on this 3rd and 3.
Denning in the shotgun. Manchester Valley brings everybody, but the play's blown dead.
I believe Winters Mill called a timeout from the sideline. We'll see.
They did.
That's their first.
First of the half for either team. And for Matt Miller and his staff, Miller in his 13th season, not seeing what he liked there. This is a crucial play in the game, Pat. 6 minutes to go. Winters Mill hasn't been able to score since that first quarter. They haven't been able to have much success on 3rd down. And with the way Manchester Valley's been able to use Connor Stack tonight, it's no guarantee that if you don't get a 1st down here, the rest of the clock could bleed out.
Sure. Yeah, it's a big play, and that's obviously why Miller called the timeout. He wants to talk this over, knowing that, like you said, this is their best chance they've had in a long time, and they want to keep this drive going as long as they can. And if you're Man Valley, I think here you got to be wary of Denning, but, they've got, you've mentioned it all night, Nathan, they've got multiple guys that can tote the rock and get this 1st down if they need it.
And you wonder if Andalina comes back into the game here. Phillips remains in there, of course, Denning at the top of the huddle, but no Andalina here on 3rd and 3. Vasquez remains in the game. He goes into the slot on the right side. 4 receivers for Winters Mill. Phillips, the running back, to the left of Denning. 3rd and 3 for the Mavericks, 44. 6 minutes to go in regulation.
Mavericks showing that pressure again, that blitz.
They bring it. Phillips can't get the line to gain. His left knee went down at the line of scrimmage, a half a yard on 3rd down, and no question, 4 down territory for the Falcons.
Yeah, it looked like Phillips was going to make something happen there, but he slipped, and also one of the Man Valley interior linemen got in there too to kind of wreck the play. So maybe give him a yard. Like you said, it'll be a 4th and a long 2.
And here comes Andalina. A gingerly jog for number 5 in white. But he goes into the slot. Phillips remains in the backfield. 4th and 2 for Winters Mill. They have to get to the 41 of Manchester Valley to move the sticks. Denning keeps it himself up the middle. Did he get there?
I don't think so.
The initial spot says he's short. And it looks like Manchester Valley's defense comes up huge again. Officially, Mavericks football.
Big play there. Big play by that Mavericks front. They had that pressure 3 straight plays. Winters Mill tried to run into it 3 straight times. And the last time was the most important one for Man Valley. They were denied. Needed 2, and I think got 1 and change, and just not enough to move the chain. So still, look, 5:09 left. Still a lot of time left. Winters Mill has 2 timeouts. But Man Valley now has the ball in hand, if you will, and they can start to bleed some of this clock. And they even know how to run the ball as well tonight, Nathan.
Yeah, let's take a look at the stats for Manchester Valley. 22 carries, 125 on the ground. Connor Stack with 122 of those, averaging 8.7 yards per carry across 14 touches.
Yeah, better than 5.5 yards a carry for the team. There's an odd play.
Yeah, some confusion in the backfield. Snell went behind his body, a little bit of a reverse pivot. I think Stack thought he was getting the power up the gut instead of the sweep to the left. And it's a loss on 1st down. for Manchester Valley, only of a yard though.
I was going to say, give Stack credit. That was 4 or 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and he's got himself turned back the right way for Man Valley and pushed ahead and only had the 1 yard loss. But both of these fronts in the second half I've been impressed with, whether it's Whitney and Tejada leading the charge on Winters Mills side, and then a host of guys on Man Valley. You mentioned Hummel and Pitta and guys like that up front. So which one will break first could be the decision here with the final 4.5 minutes.
Day into the game, but he's a blocker for Stack, who goes past the 45, taken down at the Manchester Valley 47-yard line.
We'll see what happens on this next play, but that could have been a pretty important play because that gets it back. Well, looked like he had more than that, but at least gets it back to third and manageable, third and a long 6, instead of being behind the chain. So does Coach Kuntz want to roll the dice if they don't get a first down here, but they get closer to the line to gain? Remains to be seen. That'd be a short field, but your defense has been playing lights out all night long.
This is the biggest play of the game for either side. Keep in mind, Winters Mill only has 2 more opportunities to stop the clock. Manchester Valley's likely going to stay in bounds on any time they touch the football. So if Manchester Valley gets this first down, they're in the driver's seat. And now Coach Kuntz opts for his first time out of the half to reset.
These are important plays. You're mentioning. We're going to see that a few more times here. The biggest play of the game today, because there's going to be more in these final 3:22. This is the way this goes when it's a 3-point game between 2 Carroll County rivals. And you just figure you're talking, if you're Coach Kuntz in the huddle here, about if we don't get another yard here on third down, what do we want to do here? Do we want to punt it away? I would assume you would. Based on the field position, you pin Winters Mill deep and you rely on your defense. It's been playing great. If you get close to the line to gain, or you obviously get a first down, that changes things. But if you get close, do you trust Stack and Day and Snell and company to get that first down, which would be a backbreaker if you're Winters Mill's defense?
And on the other side, if you're Matt Miller, if you do stop Manchester Valley here, do you use that second timeout now? Or do you opt to let the clock run and maybe get the ball back with both your timeouts, but about 2.5 minutes to go rather than 3 minutes and 15 seconds and 1 timeout?
And they don't, and this isn't a knock on them, they just don't have that super big playability. At least they haven't shown it tonight against Man Valley, where if you're left with only 30, 40, 50 seconds, if that's what happens and you have the timeouts, it's really an uphill battle if you're Winters Mill to try to get down there and score.
Yeah, they'd have to pull out, maybe a hook and ladder to try and
we wouldn't see two
get
of those
to the end zone.
2 of those in one game, would we?
I wouldn't put it past them to try it. Manchester Valley to the air on third down. Snell for the dagger. Incomplete.
Well, that gives Winters Mill a break right there. That stops the clock. And I think that might, let's see what Coach Kuntz wants to do. And I heard punt. I could hear it from the sideline. So that's the play, I think, here. Try your best to pin Winters Mill deep and lean on your defense to try to hold on to this game. But interesting play call on third and long.
Yeah, it's best case scenario for Winters Mill, just like you were mentioning, Pat. That now they get those 3 minutes and 15 seconds with both timeouts.
Yep.
But you could tell the strategy there was to end this game with one play.
I was just going to say that. If he catches the ball there, it's all not quite over, but it's definitely feeling better. Oh, and now we got a bad snap. Nice
Snell
job.
able to get it away.
Wow, nice job. Oh, and then the muff.
Manchester Valley recovers. Keontae Torrance couldn't come up with it off the bounce. And it's recovered by the Mavericks. Ferrano, who was the intended target on that dagger play a moment ago, comes up with the muff punt, and Manchester Valley takes over deep into Falcons territory.
Yeah, sometimes you got to remember they're high school kids. Torrance was just trying to make a play. He'd have left it alone, and Winters Mill's offense is on the field. Instead, he touches it. Man Valley recovers and bailed out by a mistake.
What a play.
Turn of events for sure.
And now Manchester Valley goes to the I formation. At the Winters Mill 21, the clock under 3 minutes. Snell hands off to Stack. Spinning his way past the line of scrimmage. Gain of 2 or 3 for the veteran running back.
Big boy run there by Stack, and now you got a Winters Mill player slow to get up. And clock's still running, I think, Nathan. So Coach Matt Miller just decides not to take it just yet. Second in about 7 or 6.
And you would assume, depending on what happens on this play, that Coach Miller would use the first of his 2 remaining timeouts. With 2 minutes and 10 seconds, though, a first down could end the game for Manchester Valley. Back to the power run formation, but there's laundry on the field. Likely a false start against the Mavericks.
Boy, go back to that punt. You had everything, right? You had a bad snap. You had almost hot pursuit by Winters Mill. Snell does a good job to avoid it. Kicks it, gets a good roll. Torrance comes up, tries to play it, but you could see it converging. You saw the Man Valley players and Torrance at once. Ball goes off Torrance, live ball. So
Flag on the play.
I didn't see the signal, Nathan. I'm sorry. When I was talking,
A false start.
It was a false start. Okay, so just 5 yards back.
Back to a second and about 11, maybe 12 here for Manchester Valley. But again, a first down could put an end to this one.
And the clock restarts after the penalty, so.
Manchester Valley sticking in this I formation look. Got to think the Mavericks will take the play clock down as long as they can. Stack on the toss. Has a lane, Stack down the sideline, and he's into the end zone for a Manchester Valley touchdown.
Great run, great play design there. Has Day out in front of him. He's got blockers on his receiver side, on the left side toward the Winters Mill sideline, and Stack knows how to weave his way through the defense. And another great game for the senior, one of the top runners in Carroll County, and that all but breaks the back of Winters Mill's defense there.
It becomes a 2-score game with 91 seconds to go. And a timeout is used by Manchester Valley to decide what they're going to do here on the extra point, maybe a 2-point conversion.
How impressed are you, Nathan, with the way Day and Stack play off each other in Man Valley's offense? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's mostly been Stack, obviously, but John Day plays a big role there, too. They're both getting congratulated here on the sideline. I'm pretty impressed with how they read their assignments well.
Well, he made a great block, and he's been making great blocks all night long. He might not be the workhorse back, but what he's been able to do as a blocker, that means he'll get his chances down the line. And, you know, Stack isn't going to be able to touch the ball on every play. He's got to get breathers at some point. So knowing that you have 2 guys that you can rely on to touch the football, and you can really rely on one to be that lead blocker, so beneficial for this Manchester Valley offense. Ryder Fenner out for the extra point. Saunders holds, and Fenner's kick is good. 16-6, Manchester Valley leads with 91 seconds to go. Pat, what's going on around the county?
South Carroll 13, Century 7 with about 5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, I believe. South Carroll has the ball. Trying to watch it on our YouTube channel here. I think they do. So, yeah, close game there at the Castle in Eldersburg. As South Carroll looks for its first win of 2025, and we get to the FSK still up 24-20 with early 3rd quarter action. That game kicked off at 7 p.m. So 2 good ones and a good one here until this last few minutes where Connor Stack put everybody on his shoulders. And what's he up to right now, Nathan?
18 carries, 152 yards, 2 touchdowns for the reigning CMSportsNet Athlete of the Week. In good contention to win that for a 2nd straight week, Mr. Stetzer.
He's definitely there. He's definitely there. Looking like we'll probably be chatting with him. I'll be chatting with him after the game. Remains to be seen. We got 131 left to go. You never know. But impressive. Look, Man Valley, again, had the 0-2 start. Things weren't going the way that Coach Bernie Kuntz wanted, but it was going to take a little bit of time to get their legs under them. They showed a lot of grit in that the game last week against Key. Had to score late and with a minute to go, I believe they did, when Stack gave them the lead. It sometimes just takes one of those to get things going. And if this goes the way this is the way this ends, it's not the end of anything for Winters Mill, right? Yes, their first loss of the season, but they held in here. They kind of made a statement, early in the game. So they've got time to regroup here. But impressed with the way Man Valley has done this.
Kickoff let go by Cole Kemp, a senior, and it's a touchback for Fenner, meaning that Winters Mill comes back out onto the field down by 10. out to their own 20-yard line. Remember that lone score came on their opening drive with about 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Winters Mill scored on a 14-yard touchdown run by Austin Denning, but that's been it for the Winters Mill offense tonight. 16 unanswered points by Manchester Valley since. A 35-yard field goal just about for Fenner. And then the 2 touchdown runs, one of 66 yards, that last one of 23 for Connor Stack, meaning that Winters Mill's backs are against the wall. 90 seconds to try and get 2 scores. Denning a pass, incomplete. Just a short pass.
Yeah, John Day kind of tackled that receiver, and there wasn't a call. Winters Mill's sideline did not think that should have gone without a penalty, but no flag was thrown, so incomplete pass, second down. It wasn't in the area, but Day kind of knocked the receiver off his feet.
Scheimer was the intended target there for Winters Mill. 2nd and 10 now with 87 seconds to go. The Falcons have no other option but to let it loose through the air. Denning, a deep drop, escapes. Looking to get out of bounds past the 40. And he's out just around his own 45. So a big play there for Austin Denning, a gain of 24 officially out to the Winters Mill 44.
Nice job using his legs, not getting tackled in bounds and getting out of bounds to stop the clock. Like you said, up to the 44-yard line, so.
Denning gives Winters Mill a chance here.
Yeah, I was like Denning trying to do whatever he can to get Winters Mill in scoring range.
Keep in mind the Falcons still have 2 of their 3 timeouts. A deep ball from Denning into double coverage, and it's picked off.
Salih, I believe.
Walter Salih with the dagger for the Mavericks. They'll improve to 2-0 in Carroll County Athletic League play.
Great defensive effort tonight from Manchester Valley. Like you said, Winters Mill scored first, didn't score again. It could have gone the other way, but especially the way Winters Mill was running the ball in that first drive and a half. Give Coach Bernie Kuntz and the Mavericks credit. They're going to be 2-0 and tied with Westminster atop the league, and where other games are still going on right now. So, and those teams have already lost a county game, so yeah, they'll be the tie at the top, man. Valley and Westminster haven't played each other yet, and that game was a good one last year that we had for you on CMSportsNet. So we can not look ahead, but look forward to that game on the calendar in a couple weeks.
Manchester Valley was down 6-0 into the second quarter, but it's been all Mavericks ever since that field goal from Fenner, which was a bit of a consolation prize on that drive, Pat, because of the bad snap. It was 1st and goal to go.
At the 4, I believe. They had it down to the 4, and they'll kneel down here.
They'll take 2 of these for Bo Snell in order to wrap this one up. The Manchester Valley Mavericks will improve to 2-2 overall after losses to Hereford and North Hagerstown to begin the year. Back-to-back county wins over FSK and now Winters Mill. The Falcons will fall to 3-1 after a combined 111 points scored to just 12 allowed in its first 3 games. A tough one here on the road to begin county play for Matt Miller's team, as Snell gets ready to take one final snap.
And they got to go right back on the road next week, Nathan. So road check here. You absorb your first loss. How do you deal with it? Well, Coach Miller knows they go right back on the road next week for more Carroll County action.
Winters Mill is at Key next week. That one begins at 7 p.m. Keep an eye on the rest of CM Sportsnet's coverage tonight between Tuscarora and Francis Scott Key. As for Manchester Valley, they head to Liberty next week for a battle against the Lions. Liberty, a team that's playing some really good football right now, Pat. That should be a fun one.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about these matchups, and none of them are easy. They don't get easier the rest of the way. There's no cupcake, if you will, or no soft team that's struggling. There might be some records that aren't great right now, but these games are not going to be, cakewalks by any means, and these coaches all know that. So we're looking forward to the next 5-6 weeks and beyond as we head into postseason play. And before we sign off, Nathan, obviously, thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you again here,
Absolutely.
too, on some broadcast throughout the fall. Just your impressions. I think if I'm coming away with this from this game, my first takeaway is impressed with the way Man Valley handled itself, kept its composure being down early.
Yeah, I mean, my first impression, Connor Stack is one of the best players, if not the best player with the ball in his hands in Carroll County, with the way he's able to make the big plays happen, the explosion, 66 yards on a trick play, 23 yards to seal it at the very end. Denning has the same kind of ability for Winters Mill on the other side. It just didn't go his way tonight, even though he did wind up with over 100 rushing yards. But this Manchester Valley team now having won 2 in a row, 2-0 in county play. They have that tough matchup next week. Then they host South Carroll, 2 road games to end county play before a home non-county game to end the regular season. This is a team that can make a lot of noise, and if they get a big win next week against Liberty, we're talking about them in contention to win the county here in 2025.
Absolutely, and you can look here too. So no slouch against Liberty. South Carroll will compete, and then look looming out there in a few weeks' time at Westminster. They've got their lights back now, so they'll be at Ruby Field under the lights in mid-October. But you said it right, Nathan. I mean, every week there's a matchup like this that it's kind of enticing. This one was a good one too. You got another one going on right now. South Carroll Century is a 1-score game late, so you can get fans can go check that out. But it was fun doing the game with you, man.
Absolutely.
It was impressive. Yeah, absolutely.
One down, hopefully a lot more to go.
Many more to go, yeah. So we'll go ahead and sign off. And the final score, again, like Nathan said, Man Valley 16, Winters Mill 6. Thanks, everybody, for joining us on CMSportsNet's coverage of Carroll County Athletic League football. Have a good rest of your weekend. For Nathan Schwartz, I'm Pat Stetzer saying so long, and we'll see you next time.